welcome to a full house once again. Two of our colleagues will still join, Joydeep Mukherjee and Shubhan Chakravarti. Shubhan will join us from South Africa and Joydeep Da will join us from Kolkata, where he was commentating for the Ranji Trophy final. But already with us, Atreya Mukhopadhyay from Delhi. He was at the Border Gavaskar Trophy second test match at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Joining us from Mumbai, the IPL schedule has been announced today. Amit Shah was covering that and obviously was also there for there's Shubhan Chakravarti joining us from a rainy South Africa. You can see some World Cup branding behind him. And Devashish Sen was also at the Bengal versus Saurashtra Ranji Trophy final at the Eden Garden. So packed house. Let me go to Atreya first. Border Gavaskar Trophy gripping day. You think 263 is competitive, Atreya, if Australia bowl well on this wicket?
That depends on what happens in the first session tomorrow. But I think 263 is better than 177, what they got in the first test, but it may not be enough. But anyway, we have to wait and see that what happens in the first session. If they get some quick wickets, they can be in the match. But at the moment, they are again chasing the game. They, after winning an important toss, they got although it was a bit scratchy, the opening partnership, it was still worth 50 runs. And a 50-run opening stand in any test match is a good start. They had two more 50-plus partnerships, but could not consolidate on that. And of the seven players that they have in the 11, from whom they expect runs, only two of them got something substantial. So that was a major drawback on part of Australia, and which is why India has again taken an upper hand in this match. But anyway, what happens in the first session tomorrow will possibly determine where we are headed.
Okay, very, very interesting test match, first day, and as Atreya said, huge first session tomorrow. Shubhan, to you now. South Africa, very dark, grey skies, cloudy. We were looking at your pictures from the indoor nets. What's the prediction for tomorrow? Tell us that, because it's India-England. Last World Cup, also India-England, rain washed out, India made the final. Yep. Australia-South Africa tomorrow, two huge games. What's the prediction for tomorrow? And you were there at the Indian nets. Give us a sense.
So I had a word with it's been raining here since morning. Yesterday it didn't rain, but the locals here have been saying that it's very unpredictable here because tomorrow you might find it very sunny and giddy. The action has now shifted from Cape Town to Port Elizabeth, now known as Canberra. So I'm right outside the St. George's Park here, and India had a good training session. Smriti Mandhana looked very, very much better than what she was in the previous training sessions she had. She's getting her power back, so it is good to see that. Even Richa Ghosh, I think even the throwdown specialist had a helmet during the session with Richa Ghosh, because she was generating some power, and even some of the strokes, the sound it was making, it was amazing to watch Richa Ghosh bat. But yes, India will have to be very careful because Shefali Verma doesn't have a great record against Nat Seaver. Nat Seaver as a whole has a tremendous record against India. So England have been a bit of a tricky patch for the Indian team, and India, as we have been discussing in our post shows and pre-match shows for a while now, that India will have to bring their 100% game. 60% won't do against England.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I mean, though in the Commonwealth Games, India did really well against England, if we remember that, and that's the last time these two teams met. So there's something to take heart from. Devashish Sen, you were there at the Ranji Trophy final. It's Saurashtra all the way. That smile is a rather disappointed, sad smile, I must say, being a Bengal supporter. Your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, obviously, you should give credit where it's due. And Saurashtra has proven it time and again. In the last 10 years, they have been into 6 finals, national finals, taking Ranji Trophy into account, and they have won 4 trophies. And it might be, it's just time that they win their 6th, they win their 5th one, because they have been totally dominated the match so far. And it's been only one way, Saurashtra leading the way. Obviously, be it their bowling, their fast bowlers, be it their batting, with the likes of Arpit Vasavada, who has been monumental in this season throughout. He's the second highest scorer right now in Ranji Trophy, having scored more than 850 runs. Can you imagine? Just after Mayank Agarwal, he is the second highest scorer now. And also, that middle order looks very, very potent with Arpit Vasavada, Sheldon Jackson, and Chirag Jani. And Bengal bowlers, they were all over. They hardly bowled in the right areas. They were wayward. They bowled in the legs, at the pads. means nothing really positive for Bengal, I would say. And
Okay.
I would say that Saurashtra just have put one foot forward to clinching the trophy for the second time.
Okay. There are 4 Bengal supporters here, and I think Amit Shah is also a co-opted Bengal supporter. The 6th one is also there, though it's too dark. Joydeep Mukherjee, where are you? Because we hardly can look at you. You're too dark, your screen. So give us a bit of a bright screen and we will go to you. Amit Shah, question for you. That's much better, Joydeep. That's much better. Amit Shah, to you. Indian spin once again. Ravichandran Ashwin, that 1 over before lunch, जहां पे उन्होंने मानस लाबुशेन और स्टीव स्मिथ को आउट किया. उन्होंने स्टीव स्मिथ को जैसे आउट किया, हम लोगों को डिस्क्राइब भी किया था, अगर आप याद करोगे वो इंटरव्यू में. अश्विन जितना दिन जावे, उनका जो दिमाग है, उनका जो स्किल है, इनका जो मिश्रण होता है, इज एब्सोल्युटली फैंटास्टिक. दैट 1 ओवर अमित शाह.
देखिए बुरेदा, आपने देखा होगा कि नागपुर के बाद जब रोहित शर्मा ने इरफान पठान से बात कर रहा था, वो कह रहा था कि अगर बॉल जैसे पुराना हो जाता है, हर कोई मेरे पास आता है, मेरा 250 विकेट हो गया, मेरा 450 है, मेरा ये है, मुझे बॉल दे दो, मुझे बॉल दे दो. ये सेम पोजीशन आज भी रहा होगा, क्योंकि आप देखिए और मैं कह रहा हूँ सेकंड हाफ जैसे ही आ जाता है ना, इंडियन बॉलर्स जो है ना वो थोड़े ज्यादा जो है वो टफ हो जाते हैं ऑस्ट्रेलियंस को खेलने के लिए, और कहीं ना कहीं आज वही रहा. लेकिन नागपुर के मुकाबले हम कह रहे हैं कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया आज तैयारी करके आई है. जैसे हमारी बात भी उन्होंने सुन ली, थोड़े जाग गए हैं, लगभग 250 के ऊपर रन्स तो बना लिए उन्होंने. लेकिन अब ये आप देखिए कहीं ना कहीं विवाद जो है, सवाल एक बार फिर से पैदा हो रहे हैं. जिस तरीके से ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने अपनी टीम चुनी है, एक ही पेस बॉलर है, बाकी उन्होंने स्पिनर्स खिलाए, तो कहीं ना कहीं अब ऑस्ट्रेलिया का क्या होगा, क्या भारतीय बल्लेबाज को यहाँ पर अच्छा बैटिंग करना पड़ेगा. श्रेयस अय्यर जो टीम में वापस आए हैं, उन पर जो है कहीं ना कहीं दारोमदार रहेगा. लेकिन पूरी निगाहें, पूरा देश जो है और पूरी क्रिकेटिंग फैटर्निटी चेतेश्वर पुजारा पर उनकी निगाहें हैं. 100वां टेस्ट मैच है, और आज जब सनी भाई ने सुनील गावस्कर सर ने जब उनको कैप हैंडओवर की, जब उनका इस्तकबाल किया, तब सुनील गावस्कर साहब ने ये कहा कि अब तक अपने 100वें टेस्ट मैच में किसी ने भी सेंचुरी नहीं बनाई है, तो वेलकम टू द 100 टेस्ट मैच क्लब. अगर आप आज एक सेंचुरी इस मैच में अगर बना लेते हैं, तो आप जो है एक हिस्ट्री कायम कर लेंगे भारतीय क्रिकेट के इतिहास में. तो चेतेश्वर पुजारा कल जब सवेरे मैदान में उतरेंगे, उनके दिमाग में यही होगा कि मैं इस मैदान पर खड़े रह के 100 कैसे बनाऊं और एक हिस्ट्री कायम करूं और भारत को 2-0 से जीताऊं. तो काफी इंटरेस्टिंग टेस्ट मैच. जैसे अत्रोदा ने कहा कि जो पहला हाफ है वो काफी इंटरेस्टिंग होगा. तो भारत को विकेट नहीं देने हैं, और खासकर रोहित शर्मा जो है वो अपनी तैयारी में पूरी है, लेकिन केएल राहुल को यहाँ पर अपना विकेट.
जॉयदीप के पास जाऊंगा अमित, जॉयदीप के पास जाऊंगा. जॉयदीप, 2 questions before I go to Athreyo on Cheteshwar Pujara because Athreyo was there in Delhi. In fact, 2 questions for Athreyo after that. But Jaydeep, first, Bengal, we were all hearing your commentary. Yes, you have to be objective on commentary, but how disappointed are you with Bengal? Question number 1. Question number 2, I'm sure you followed the Border Gavaskar Trophy. You think 263 India will be the happier lot?
Yeah, I'll just come with Bengal first. I think, I was very disappointed with the way Bengal bowled. I know that the toss and everything else, we know all that. And Bengal's strength has been Bengal's bowling. But today it was really let down. Mukesh was off color, Akash was off color, Ishan was woefully off color, and that showed. And so disappointing, but you keep fighting. Coming back to the Border Gavaskar Trophy, I think Pujara, when he was in KKR in 2008, I used to always tell him that you will replace the wall and you will play 100 test matches. And I said, he knows that. And he would always say, Joyda, main to abhi team mein bhi nahi hu. But I could see that he's cut from the same cloth as a Rahul Dravid, likes to bat long, he, walks like a dog on his batting. And he will not be the poster boy of Indian cricket, but he'll be someone who we will remember as one of the greatest to have played the game for India. Because batting at number 3, 100 test matches, phenomenal numbers. As far as Australia is concerned, a little disappointed with losing 4 wickets to Shami on a wicket like this. They take a lot of pride playing fast bowling, 4 wickets to Shami. So that would be disappointed. But overall, I feel that India is in command because it's a good wicket to bat on.
After 2 questions, one on Indian bowling and the second on Pujara. The first one, like I wrote yesterday, for every Robert Lewandowski, you have a Joshua Kimmich, and for Leo Messi, you need a Jordi Alba. Cheteshwar Pujara is like that, lends that balance as far as I'm concerned to that Indian team. So your thoughts on Pujara, having sort of seen his entire career as a journalist? Question number one. Question number two. First day wicket, once again, the Indian spinners delivered. Between Ashwin and Jadeja, they have delivered. Slightly disappointed with Aksar, or is that okay? Your thoughts overall on Indian bowling? Two questions after.
I'll come to the Pujara question first. Well, we know the numbers he has racked up. I mean, he averages close to 45, has 19 Test centuries, and numbers are pretty impressive. He's known for playing big innings, long innings. But what I find most remarkable about his career is that at different points in time, at several stages of his career, he had to face some uncomfortable questions. I mean, who talks about strike rate intensity? He had to face that question. He doesn't impose himself enough on the opposition bowlers. Those are silly questions, but he had to deal with them. And he had some injuries also. So those injuries could have been career threatening. But we also have to take into account the fact that since he was not playing in the limited over teams, he was not in the limited over teams. He missed out the chance to face the India bowlers during net practice. And because the Ranji Trophy season coincides with the Indian Test season, so he had very little limited time for match practice and practice. So things were more challenging for him in that regard because others were almost everybody else were in touch with the game, while he had to make an effort to be in touch with the game. He had to go to England and play, and that has paid dividends. He has, I mean, that journey is like his batting. I mean, he stuck it out. I mean, he gritted it out and gritted his teeth and dug deep. So that's what I find very, very fascinating about Cheteshwar Pujara's career, and it's good to see that he's been rewarded. I mean, Indian team management, Indian selectors, they have acknowledged their value. They have given him. I mean, they have recognized what Pujara brings to the table and rewarded him for that. And
the second question quickly: Indian bowling.
See, I think Indian spinners were spot on, but to me, the more remarkable thing was that the Indian quicker bowlers bowled around 25 overs between them. When on a day, India bowled around 78 overs. It was 77.4 or something. And that was quite remarkable for me because a lot of people expected Rohit Sharma to unleash the spinners straight away. There was a little bit of assistance, not great assistance for the spinners. Ashwin made a few balls turn. So did Jadeja, but those were not too many. And despite that, Rohit Sharma didn't get carried away by the thought of using spin continuously. He kept bringing the fast bowlers on, and that's one reason why India succeeded in breaking those partnerships. They had 350 plus partnership and 140 or 140 odd. So it was important to break those partnership, and Rohit kept rotating his fast bowlers, both of them. Siraj didn't get wickets, but he was quite impressive in the first spell. And Shami, as we all know, took 4 wickets. So that was quite remarkable for me.
Okay. Shubhan Chakraborty, South Africa. You mentioned the point about Smriti Mandhana. You know, give me a sense. What's the mood in the Indian camp like? I mean, yes, 2-2, but do they realize that they're still not at their best? Do they realize that they need to at least punch 20%, 30% better to be able to beat England? You were there at the practice. Give us a sneak peek. Give us a backstage of the Indian practice about confidence, about what's the mood like, what's going on there. Give us a sense from the practice.
Oh, absolutely. You could, as soon as I stepped inside that indoor arena, I could sense that there's a big match around because the intensity of the training session was too high. Like Smriti, the throwdown specialist, even though Smriti is nursing a finger injury, she's not 100%. I still feel, but the pace of the ball and the way they were batting, some of the strokes, it was like. They are giving them a scenario: 6 ball, 15 runs, 6 ball, 18 runs. You need to score that. And there were some tough deliveries. They were bowling quick to Smithy, and even Jemmy at least batted for around 30-35 minutes at the nets today. So there's a sense of that, big matches around the corner, and the intensity is extremely high. Even Richa Ghosh, she batted for 20-25 minutes, and each and every stroke she was playing like she was hitting in the during a match. The power she was generating, as I said, the throwdown specialist was wearing a helmet, but surprising to not see Harmanpreet Kaur again in the training session. She, as Troy Cooley had mentioned, that on the eve of the game, Harman generally doesn't bat, and that is what the case again was. she's not in the best of form. As we know, she did score a 30 odd last game, but it wasn't the fluent Harmanpreet that we know. So there's a sense of big match situation around, but still I feel to beat England, India needs to do something special and out of the box.
Got it. Yeah, and good point made there. Amit Shah, the other news point of the day, Chetan Sharma resignation. उनका पोजीशन तो वैसे ही बन गया था कि उनको छोड़ना चाहिए था. But two questions here. I mean, why? One, what does this say about future of journalist selection committee relationship? Because clearly private conversations coming out in the public domain like this when you trust somebody. Number two, what does this say about choice of selectors? Is it only about numbers or is it about discretion? The BCCI needs to get that right because clearly the choice was wrong, at least the second time round. Thoughts on that?
जी देखिए बोरियदा, एक जिस तरीके से ये जो स्टिंग ऑपरेशन हुआ है, पहली बात मैंने अपने फेसबुक पे भी लिखा था, स्टिंग ऑपरेशन ऐसे व्यक्ति का होता है जो कहीं ना कहीं भ्रष्टाचारी हो, कहीं ना कहीं उसने गबन किया हो, पैसे के लेन देन हो, मैच फिक्सिंग किया हो, अगर स्पोर्ट्स का मामला है तो. लेकिन ऐसे चेयरमैन ऑफ सिलेक्शन के बारे में आपको ऐसा स्टिंग ऑपरेशन करके क्या मिलेगा? पहले से ही हम देख रहे हैं कि मीडिया और प्लेयर्स के बीच में दूरी आ चुकी थी, कोविड की वजह से और दूरी थी. ऐसे इंसिडेंट अगर मीडिया हाउस ही करने लगे ना तो प्लेयर्स मीडिया से और दूर भागेंगे. एक जो रिश्ता है कहीं ना कहीं ये काफी दूर हो चुका है. मेरे हिसाब से सही बात नहीं थी. अगर हम वीडियो की बात करें तो मानता हूं कि चेयरमैन ऑफ सिलेक्टर जो थे चेतन शर्मा, जो उनसे गलती हुई है, ऐसी कई बातें उन्होंने कही है जो उनको नहीं कहनी चाहिए थी. हमारे लोगों को ये सब चीजें पता है, हमसे कोई बातें अछूती नहीं है, पर अगर आप कैमरे के सामने अगर आके ये चीजें बोलते हो तो मेरे हिसाब से कहीं ना कहीं बीसीसीआई के जो नियम कानून है उसके अगेंस्ट में ये चीजें जाती हैं, क्योंकि आप पेड सिलेक्टर हो और ये चीजें जो आपको नहीं करनी चाहिए. असलियत क्या है इसकी जानकारी मुझे है, लेकिन मैं पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म पे इस बात को दोहराना नहीं चाहता. और इसलिए मॉरल ग्राउंड के आधार पर चेतन शर्मा ने जो है वो रेजिग्नेशन दे दिया. जैसे देवाशीष ने भी कहा था कि वो कैलकाटा में मौजूद थे पहले दिन रणजी ट्रॉफी में, उन्होंने शाम को रेजिग्नेशन दिया और सवेरे जो है वो फ्लाइट पकड़ के आ गए दिल्ली. मेरे हिसाब से यहाँ पर जयदीप दा कुछ बोलना चाहेंगे. प्लीज जयदीप दा.
Yeah, he was here. In fact, all the 5 selectors are here, and I met him. But yesterday around 2:33, he vanished, and we didn't see him since. We just thought maybe he's going to meet a friend because he's played for Bengal for 6-7 years. He's in some box or the other. But this morning we heard the news, and then you sort of put 2 and 2 together. So he must have left the ground already, and something must have happened in the second half tomorrow, because I met him in the morning and he was absolutely normal with his other 4 selectors in a box. There's an Irani Cup on the first, the teams to be picked. He looked normal. Something must have transcribed. I have no idea.
Interesting. Yes, Amit, before I go to Devashish.
जी देखिए, जहां तक मेरी कुछ लोगों से बात हुई है, बीसीसीआई के अधिकारियों ने चेतन शर्मा से बात की, उनको कहा गया, क्योंकि अगर आप पिछला टर्म देखें चेतन शर्मा का, टीम ने अच्छा प्रदर्शन नहीं किया, लेकिन चेतन शर्मा एक लौते ऐसे सीनियर व्यक्ति थे कि जो चेयरमैन थे, और इन्होंने हर एक नया लड़का जो डोमेस्टिक लेवल पर परफॉर्म कर रहा है या तो और कोई लेवल पर परफॉर्म कर रहा है, हर एक को उन्होंने मौका दिया है. बीइंग अ चेयरमैन ऑफ सिलेक्शन कमेटी, कई लड़के जो हैं उनको इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट में मौका मिला है, चाहे वो टीम श्रीलंका दौरे पे गई हो जहां पर शिखर धवन कप्तानी कर रहे थे, हमारी मेन टीम कहीं और खेल रही थी, हर एक खिलाड़ियों को कहीं ना कहीं मौका मिला है. इसी के चलते चेतन शर्मा का टेन्योर जो है एक बार फिर से बढ़ाया गया. कहीं ना कहीं कहा जा रहा है कि बीसीसीआई के सेक्रेटरी जय शाह के काफी करीबी थे, इस वजह से मिला है कॉन्ट्रैक्ट उनको. लेकिन जब ये स्ट्रिंग ऑपरेशन बाहर आया, मेरे हिसाब से बीसीसीआई के सेक्रेटरी ने उनको फोन करके कहा कि देखिए ये जो है ये बीसीसीआई के रणनीति के खिलाफ है, जिस तरीके से रूल बुक के खिलाफ है आपने जो ये किया है, हम आपको नहीं निकालेंगे, आप जो है वो नैतिकता का हवाला, आप रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लीजिए इस स्टिंग ऑपरेशन की और आप खुद रिजाइन कर दिए. मेरे हिसाब से ये बात उनकी कल दोपहर में हुई होगी. इस वजह से जो जयदीप दावी कह रहे हैं कि वो मैदान से गायब हो गए, ये पूरी तो कल शाम को हुई है, और उसके बाद चेतन शर्मा ने जो है वो अपना रेजिग्नेशन बीसीसीआई के प्रेसिडेंट और सेक्रेटरी को रेजिग्नेशन दे करके वो आज सवेरे दिल्ली रवाना हो गए. मेरे हिसाब से कहीं ना कहीं दुखद बात है. अभी इंटरिम चेयरमैन के रूप में एसएस दास को जो है वो जिम्मेदारी दी गई है, लेकिन आने वाले दिनों में अब क्या नया चेयरमैन ऑफ सिलेक्शन कमेटी कौन होगा, नॉर्थ जोन से होगा क्या, इस पर एक बड़ा सवाल है, क्योंकि दो बड़े प्रतियोगिता हमको खेलनी है, तीन रादर, तो आपकी वर्ल्ड टेस्ट चैंपियनशिप, दूसरी आपका एशिया कप, और तीसरा 50 ओवर का विश्व कप जो भारत में होना है। आपको चेयरमैन ऑफ सिलेक्शन कमेटी चाहिए होगा। अभी कौन आता है और नियम कानून का स्ट्रिक्ट होते हैं, इस पर जो है वो सबसे बड़ा बीसीसीआई को निर्णय लेना होगा। बुरियादा,
Mama, you have been the one who's covered the most number of tours. You know, you've been close to players. Today, a journalist at the Eden Gardens who was covering the Ranji Trophy match told me, and I'm putting it on record, he said one of the Bengal players spoke to him, or one of the Saurashtra players, I don't remember, said spoke to him for about 10-15 minutes and then said, please don't put any of this out. This is just between you and me. And he said, you know, he and I were friends for the longest time. He's never ever told me these sentences that don't put these things out. Do you think people like you who cover tours regularly, who speak to these guys, who chat with these players, these things will now become difficult for somebody like you? People won't trust the media, or even the media won't trust the players.
I'll just like to give you one incident. I'll just put forward an incident. During the lunchtime, Joydidda was there. Subroto Banerjee and Salil Ankola, they were heading for lunch. And there were a few scribes who just met Subroto. I happen very close to Subroto because I know him for a long time. And when I met him, I met him in Nagpur as well. He was very cordial. He came to me, Are, means, you are here as well. He was very cordial, amicable. He loves me very. And today I saw something different. When the scribes were in front of him, he just rushed for the lunch. He just took Joydipta, come, let's have lunch. And by that time, Salil Ankola already was inside the conference room where the lunch was set up for the selectors. So you can make out from that incident, that one incident, what happens to the trust between the journalists and the selectors and the players. I mean, it's only going to get worsened after this incident, because no players will ever speak frankly with the journalists, be it off record, on record, their sources, anything. We hear such a lot of things, but trust me, there won't be any players who's going to mix with the journalist like they do. Gone were those days when Atroda is a senior journalist here. Jodita during his time, people used to be in the dressing room. If I'm not wrong, journalists used to be in the dressing room. I am talking about the era of Kapil Dev, the Sunil Gavaskar, even during the generation of Sachin Tendulkar, Saurav Ganguly's. We had such a nice relationship. But those are history now. Those are history. Let me put on record. Those are history. No. Obviously, nowadays, most of these current players, they don't mix with the journalists so closely, but now more and more there will be mistrust. They will be looking suspiciously. अरे कुछ बोल तो नहीं दिया मैं किसी के बारे में. So this will get only worse in the relation between journalists and the players. बढ़िया था.
Shubhan Chakraborty, you will be at the receiving end, because you are the youngest of the lot here. So going forward, you will also have to face the brunt of this.
We are already facing it.
Have you seen the impact in South Africa as well?
Of course, there have been discussion. The day the sting operation came out, we were sitting inside the press box at Newland, and everyone was shocked, everyone was stunned, because the sting operation, first of all, is a gray area, is in a gray area when it comes to the ethics of journalism. And of course, Chetan Sharma is a prominent character right now because he's the BCCI chief selector. But it's a breach of privacy, it's a breach of trust. And when we are talking about ethics, we always hide the name of source. Why? Because it's trust. It's trust. The connections are built on trust, and once you break it, it has a ripple effect on everyone. Be it a junior guy, be it a senior guy like yourself, Atroda, or Devashish. It will have a ripple effect on everyone. So it's not actually good. If you have to do a story, investigate properly, take out the actual documents, actual paper, and then report it. That's how it should be done.
After, before I go to Amit, thoughts on that? Not too much time left. I'll take closing comments after this comment from you.
See, I think there are, I classify this in two parts. One is that there are players who we have known for 20 odd years, that some trust developed between us. So that will not be destroyed because of this. That will remain. But to build new contacts, to make new acquaintances or getting introduced to new players, that will become a very difficult proposition now. As far as the old contacts or old relationships are concerned, I am pretty hopeful that those will remain because they have been built on years of trust, decades of trust. That will not go away because of one incident. But yes,
Amit, before I come to
building
you,
new.
frankly, my 2 pence, I've written a Rev Sports editorial on this, in fact, 2 articles. But my one line is nothing that was said in the sting operation did the journalists not know. All of us knew everything about it. So let's put that on record. In fact, what Chetan Sharma did not say, the name who was the 9th member present in that whole meeting was the most important name, and let that name not be disclosed in the public domain. So clearly, the real veracity of the sting operation was nonsense. Now your thoughts on it.
देखिए बोरेदा, आप और हम लगभग एक दूसरे को 20 साल से जानते हैं। ऐसी कितनी कहानियां हैं जो मैंने आपको बताई, आपने मुझको बताई है, और ऑथेंटिक बंदे ने बताई है जो उस पोस्ट पे बैठा है। लेकिन वो बंदा तभी हमारे साथ में शेयर करता है दिल खोल के, जो उसको पता है कि ये बंदा बाहर नहीं बताएगा। मुझे बोरियादा 2011 वाला इंसिडेंट याद आ रहा है, जब हम लोग यहाँ पर नॉटिंघम में घूम रहे थे। महेंद्र सिंह धोनी ने आपसे जो बात करी थी, वहां पर प्रवीण कुमार थे उस टूर पर। ऐसे कितनी सी बातें हैं जो हम पब्लिक ने नहीं बता सकते, लेकिन वो तभी ऐसे वो प्लेयर बताते हैं जब उनको पता है कि किसी के लिए ट्रस्ट फैक्टर है। मेरे हिसाब से जो अत्रोदा ने कहा, जो आपके पुराने कॉन्टेक्ट हैं, वो ट्रस्ट फैक्टर कहीं ना कहीं वो प्लेयर आपसे बात करेंगे, लेकिन जो नया लॉट है वो बात नहीं करेगा। आज मेरी 2 खिलाड़ियों से बात हो रही थी, फॉर्मर प्लेयर हैं और एक करंट प्लेयर हैं। जब मैंने उनको फोन किया तो उन्होंने कहा, भैया रिकॉर्ड तो नहीं कर रहे हो ना? मैंने वो बोला, देखो भाई, हम आपको कह रहे हैं, अगर आपको मेरे पे ट्रस्ट है तो आप फोन लगाइए, नहीं तो अभी कभी फोन काटिए। उन्होंने कहा, नहीं मैं मजाक कर रहा हूँ। मैंने बोला, देख, तो उसने कहा, देखिए ऐसी घटना हुई है, ये सवाल पूछना लाजमी है कि हमको भी अपना करियर करना है। इस बात पर मैंने बिल्कुल बुरा नहीं माना। मैंने बोला, जी इंसिडेंट हुआ है, आपको भी संभल कर चलना चाहिए। आने वाले दिनों में कोई भी अगर आप बात करें फोन पे ना करिएगा, तो प्लेयर के मन में भी डर है। और कहीं ना कहीं आने वाला जो इंसिडेंट हुआ है, मेरे हिसाब से अब मीडिया और क्रिकेटर और खिलाड़ियों के बीच में दूरी जो है वो बढ़ती जाएगी, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है। लेकिन हमारे मीडिया हाउसेस को भी समझना चाहिए, स्टिंग ऑपरेशन करना है तो कौन से व्यक्ति का करना है और जिससे भारतीय क्रिकेट को फायदा हो। ये तमाम बातें सभी को पता थी आए दिन, लेकिन इस पर आप कुछ कर नहीं सकते हो। खिलाड़ियों की आपको जरूरत है, लेकिन इस तरीके की छिछोरी हरकत को हम जर्नलिज्म, हम पत्रकारिता नहीं करते। मैं इस बात को कंडेम करता हूं।
Frankly, the doping thing was completely out of this
Yes,
thing. I mean,
yes, completely,
not every
completely.
injection is banned substance. I mean, people don't understand the nitty-gritties.
Yes.
Go and ask KP Mohan, go and ask Rajaraman. Both of them are consultants to Rev Sports.
People
and
are
will
asking
explain
the
in a much better
questions.
way.
People are asking the questions, क्या ये स्टेरॉइड ले रहे हैं, क्या ये वो कर रहे हैं? मतलब लोगों के दिमाग में आप गंदगी फैला रहे हो ऐसे कुछ डाल के, जबकि ऐसी कोई बात ही नहीं है।
So anyway, let's take closing comments. Let me start with Joydeep Da first. Joydeep Da, any chance of Bengal coming back? Because Devashish Sen keeps going to Eden Gardens at 8 o'clock and then goes and has his mutton stew at Mohan Bagan Club. So can he have that for another 3 days?
Yeah, there is definitely chance for Bengal to come back. I'll be hopeful, but I just feel that it's an uphill task because they've lost 5 wickets, but they actually lost 4 because Sakaria bats number 11. So there is, after this, Prerak Mankar, then Parth Bhuth who's got 100, then Dharmendra Jadeja who's got 90 against Mumbai. So it's a tall order, but you never say never.
Okay. Athreya, what are your thoughts about tomorrow's game? You've already told us the first 2 hours, but what are you expecting to see from India? A cautious start and then taking it on?
See, Rohit looks in fantastic touch. I expect the Australians to come back, to come at the Indians in a more planned manner. They have made things difficult for themselves by packing the 11 with 3 spinners, and one of them is playing his first test, the other one second. So definitely they are short on first-class experience, not just test experience. And but I expect them to come make things a little bit difficult for Indians by bowling to a particular plan, following and sticking to that plan. But going by the way the pitch has played so far on the first day, I don't see demons there. It may be there. It may be batting may become a tougher proposition later on in the day 4, 5, maybe 3, but there are no demons in this. So I expect a strong Indian batting lineup to put together a few runs. against some probing bowling.
Yes, Shubhan. The news coming in is apparently PCB has agreed to split the matches of the Asia Cup, India's matches in the UAE. That's the news coming in just now as we do this show, that Najam Sethi is open to splitting the games with some the India matches in the UAE and the rest of the games in Pakistan. How much that is feasible? So regular travel, just like a football World Cup, possible? We don't know. Shubhan Chakraborty, your thoughts, and we'll close with Devashish and Amit Shah.
What happens if the final India plays the final? Will they put it on UAE or Pakistan? So that is something they need to sort it out. But yes, I guess Boriada from South Africa, from Port Elizabeth, two important games coming tomorrow. That will be the potential table topper decider in both the groups. Of course, Australia favorites, but for India, if they want to avoid Australia, they need to win. They need to win. They need to sort their middle order. They need to sort their Shefali and Smriti are the top pairs, but one of them have to play big, because you can't really rely on Jemmy because she's not as consistent. Even Harmanpreet Kaur, she's not at her best. So it remains to be seen how what tactics will India put on the table for England. Interesting day coming up.
Big day coming up, and Joydeep always talks about this, that why is it that the openers don't convert? Why is it that they have to get out for 20? Why can't they bat in the 15th over? Devashish Sen, concluding thoughts. Big day tomorrow in 3 places: Delhi, South Africa, and of course where you will be. So the Muttons too, yes. But 3 huge games. Your thoughts?
I'll start the day by taking Trisha and Rohan to East Bengal ground, because today I took them to Mohun Bagan ground. They are not Mohun Bagan supporters. Established Mohun Bagan, they are not established Mohun Bagan supporters. Established East Bengal supporters. So I will go to their club, and I will prove that they don't have a lucky day. But talking about the match on a serious note, I don't think any possibility whatsoever for a Bengal comeback. Let me put it straight away. Means I don't have any disregard for the Bengal players, because I was having a word with Snehashish Ganguly today after the match, the CAB president. He also admitted that he was looking very dejected and disappointed, because
Mama only speaks to presidents. He doesn't speak to us.
Come on now. What more can I say? Now what more can I say?
Bodia Mama is 22. Bodia Mama is 22 years younger than me. I had to go to the press box to go and meet him.
Got it. So he's actually doing you a service, because he wants you to remain fit, because he'll indulge you with some biryani tomorrow, so he's doing you a service. So that is the plan. Anyway, Amit Shah, closing thoughts. Are you expecting a Pujara 100 or a big knock so that Astro can write a brilliant piece just like he does every day for Red Sports?
Definitely, I am expecting सेंचुरी फ्रॉम चेतेश्वर पुजारा. और देखिए चेतेश्वर पुजारा सौराष्ट्र से
रात को एक बार बात कर लीजिएगा.
देखिए ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ एवरीवन, वो नरेंद्र मोदी साहब से मिलने गए थे, उन्होंने बुके देके उनको बोल दिया भैया सैकड़ा तो चाहिए, सेंचुरी तो चाहिए. अधूरे में पूरा सनी भाई ने बोल दिया है. तो मेरे हिसाब से हम लोग बड़े छोटे हैं, और चेतेश्वर पुजारा को इस मैदान पर मेरे हिसाब से 100 खेलते हुए दिखे. और देखिए वो कहाँ से बिलोंग करते हैं, सौराष्ट्र से. टीम बंगाल और सौराष्ट्र का मुकाबला चल रहा है, वहां भी सौराष्ट्र हिट है. और भले मैं मुंबई में रह रहा हूँ, लेकिन मेरा नेटिव भी सौराष्ट्र में है, तो अब मेरा दिल तो सौराष्ट्र में रहेगा ही. भले मैं सारे बंगाल के लोगों के साथ हूँ, लेकिन मेरा दिल जो है वो सौराष्ट्र के साथ है. आई बी अपोलोजाइज, क्योंकि अपनी टीम को कोई भी चेयर करना चाहेगा. लेकिन दादा थैंक यू वेरी मच. और हम इतना डिस्कशन में एक बात भूल गए, आज आईपीएल का शेड्यूल भी अनाउंस हो चुका है. तो जो
वो भी बता दो.
हम एक ये बात करेंगे कि 31 मार्च को जो चैंपियन गुजरात टाइटंस है उनका मुकाबला सीएसके के साथ होगा. मतलब महेंद्र सिंह धोनी वर्सेस हार्दिक पांड्या. आपको 31 मार्च को अहमदाबाद के नरेंद्र मोदी स्टेडियम में मुकाबला देखने मिलेगा. ओपनिंग सेरेमनी वहां होगी. और देखिए एक्शन पैक मुकाबला 4 तारीख से 28 तारीख तक.
Amit, एक मिनट रुक जा. The moment that now that you brought us to the IPL, let's extend the show by 2-3 minutes. Quick comments. You go first, Amit. First time we are seeing groups. Your thoughts? Groups.
देखिए ये ग्रुप्स बहुत ही अच्छी, और मैं उसी पे आ रहा था. ग्रुप्स बड़ी अच्छी बात है कि एक दूसरे के सामने आप एक साथ मैचेस खेल रहे हो. आपको होम एंड अवे वाला इस सिस्टम फिर से शुरू हो गया, क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम हमने देखा कि सारे बॉम्बे में मैचेस हो रहे हैं 1 या 2 वेन्यू पे, उसमें मजा नहीं. ग्रुप मैचेस में काफी अच्छा. और मैं जब गौतम गंभीर को सुन रहा था, काफी इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा था. मोहम्मद कैफ उनके साथ थे. काफी इंटरेस्टिंग है ग्रुप्स वाली बातें. और देखिए एक्शन पैक माहौल होगा. और मेरे हिसाब से जहां तक मुझे जानकारी है, मैंने आपसे भी बुरियादा शेयर करी थी कि ये शायद महेंद्र सिंह धोनी का आखिरी आईपीएल होगा, इसके बाद जो है वो आईपीएल नहीं खेलेंगे। तो मेरे हिसाब से तमाम मैदानों पर जहां जहां सीएसके जाएगी वहां पर उन्हें वही ग्रैंड वेलकम मिलेगा जो उनको चेन्नई में मिलता रहा है। तो मेरे हिसाब से ये ग्रुप वाला जो सिस्टम बीसीसीआई ने बनाया है बेहतरीन है। यहाँ पर हर एक टीम जो है उनके लिए एक फाइनल समान होगा, क्योंकि कोई टीम किसके साथ 2 मैच खेल रही है, कोई टीम 1 मैच खेल रही है। मेरे हिसाब से ये काफी बड़ी चीज। और देखिए मैचेस आपके जोधपुर में है, मैचेस आपके यहाँ पर गुवाहाटी में है। तो मेरे हिसाब से जो छोटे सेंटर्स हैं उनको भी, धर्मशाला में कुछ मैचेस हैं, छोटे सेंटर्स वाले को भी जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं एक एडवांटेज मिलेगा, उनको एक बड़ा टूर्नामेंट देखने मिलेगा।
यहीं पे खत्म करते हैं शो, यहीं पे खत्म करते हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच एवरीबॉडी। Tomorrow morning we have Atreya Mukhopadhyay once again from the Arun Jaitley Stadium with his ground report, and thereafter 9 o'clock live with Devashish Sen, Atreya Mukhopadhyay, and of course Shubhan Chakraborty in South Africa. Evening, Atreya with his match report, Joydeep Da, myself, Devashish, Trisha with Shubhan in South Africa for the big India versus England game. So action non-stop continues on Red Sports. Soon after this cricket broadcast, we will also update you on what's going on with India, Hong Kong playing in the Badminton Asia Mixed Championship. The first match, Tanya and Ishan had lost to the Hong Kong pair. So all sports, every action here on Red Sports. Keep watching. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thank you, everyone.